there are three buildings. One is on the southern side, one is in the northern side, and the other one is in the center. The one is in the center has actually three niches, and they used to be, see, first father, first mother, and Kukulkan. See? On the left side, the building on the, right side, on that side, at the entrance, Mayas modeled on a stucco are women, see, about to give birth, a pregnant women. See? And they actually they found an estela, a flat stone that was carved bas relief, showing description of the year 564 AD, that the rulers of Tulum, say, descend from, I mean, a lineage that started in 564 AD. Okay? Anyway, in the other side, we have the descending god in a niche, say, on that small building. Archaeologists put this sign over here, and this sign over here shows us how a tiny hole that is in the back side of this building, facing the ocean, will let sunlight passing through, and the two buildings that you see down there will line up with, you know, the sunlight on the solstices. Somehow people believe that solstices were the gates of the spirit of life coming in and going out. For Mayan people, every winter solstice, when nature sleeps, this spiritual life force comes down. See? And in the summer solstice, after everything is being renewed, when nature is vibrating of life, see, they believe that goes away. See? Solstices. On the left-hand side, in relationship of the solstice, having a thatched roof, that building is hiding as well a descending god. And that used to be the house of the Halachwinik, that was actually ruler of royal blood. The other house, the house of the columns, was this, you know, the council, state council house that Mayas call it a Kuchkabov. Outside, families were organized on groups of 10 to 12 of them. They have around it actually houses, stone fences, dividing that way, see, areas for them to grow food, for them to grow animals, and for them to have a space to live. By work and competition, each of these groups named Kalpulis. Choose somebody, name it Kawakak, that is the one that has the stick of the first picture that I show you, that was in charge of the public administration. Since it was an stratified society, everything they produced was divided through 3 equal parts, and they were only able to keep a third of it. The second third was given to the government for social assistance, for widows, orphans, elderly people, and reserves in case of natural disasters. The last third was used by the priesthood, see, for the construction and maintenance of the social, you know, of the, I will say, sacred structure. Anyway, there was no slaves in this area. See? If children committed crimes, they were actually punished together with their fathers with the same severity, because the fathers were held responsible for children's education. If they did that for necessity, so the ruler was punished because it was his duty to make sure that everybody were okay. And if a man kill another man, say, having wife and kids, he may have to work twice as hard, because since then he will got 2 families to support. See? So there were no jails in this area. Anyway, there is something that happens on that tiny building as well, once every 8 years. And it happens at 3:30 in the morning. See? Venus light, when Venus appears as a morning star. See? But Venus takes 8 years to appear in the same place, so that's why only once every 8 years Venus appears. Mayan use a lunar calendar, and they also say that first mother appears 6 months earlier. August 13, opposite date is February the 5th. It's the beginning of the lunar calendar, and it's the beginning of the dry season. Mayan people believe that it's in the middle of this dry season when Kukulkan as a spiritual life force comes down to earth, sacrificing itself, giving its spiritual life force for actually the agricultural cycle of corn. So the only time that common people was able to come inside was actually for 5 days of the year. After counting 18 months of 20 days, the last 5 days the gates were open and all the crowds came here for 5 days of fiesta. They celebrate that drinking alcohol and eating tortillas as a matter of consecrating the ritual with wine and bread. Okay? 5 days and its nights. The sacrificial stones is something symbolic that stays on top of the stairs, lining up with the western gate, showing us real west. Okay? In Chichen Itza, the thing is different because that day we see a snake of sunlight running down. But over here we see the sun setting that way. And the only time that the moon sets in the same pattern the sun is the first full moon after the spring equinox. So that is the Mayan Chichkaban. The Mayan Chichkaban is like the Babylonians Nisan, that came to be the 7th Jewish month of the sacred calendar, and is the time that we celebrate Easter. Easter, the day that the sun rises in east, passed over because it passed from one hemisphere to the other. We celebrate the sacrifice and we celebrate the birth on the winter solstice. There's 260 days in between these two astronomical events that became average time of pregnancy, rainy season, and the agricultural cycle of corn. The moon show us death and the sun show us birth. The moon, because they believe that this moonlight, see, and the first mother is the one that purified the waters, that is the vehicle of conscience. So full moon, high tide, new moon, low tide. Sap goes up on the vegetation the same way, and on the nights of full moon, they call me lunatic or maniac because I get wild. Okay? So, different thing, same thing. But Mayas count months of 28 days. The steps of that castillo are 28 of them. As we have 28 bones in the fingers of both hands, Mayas count 28 days on the lunar month and 28 days as well on women's cycle. Okay? So, every 8 years that Venus appears over there, they have to add an extra month of 28 days to correct the calendar. So that is how, after 4 corrections, say, that we're supposed to do as well in our lifetime, say, they close the count at 33 years and they start over again. The Mayans call this way, see, of life or knowledge, the warrior path. See? But 33, you may know, is the symbolic age of Christ, is the number of years of the Arabian Egida, is the number of degrees of the Freemasons ritual that created United States, because we have 33 bones divided into 5 groups along our spine. I told you that there's 5 lights, and we have to bring this fire, see, all the way to our heart, see, and then, see, in the forehead. That's why the Egyptians got a serpent coming out of his forehead, the Keter, that is stemmed from Naha of Hebrew. In Maya is Kan. In actually Nahuatl is Coatl. In India, they call the wise men as well Nagas, serpents. Jesus said that we must be wise as serpents. And Noah shows the power of God as a serpent. So 2 snakes intertwined together along the tree of life became the symbol of the medicine man, that today you know as the caduceus of Mercury. It's a universal, say, knowledge that somehow people walk through different ways. Sometimes we say, people sometimes walk that sideways. Okay? All mankind is walking this way, one way or the other.